Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing basically my thoughts catch-up video for Samurai 8. I know it's been a very long time since I last uploaded anything Samurai 8 specific. It's really kind of anything other than One Piece. This last month and a half or whatever has been really kind of weird for me. Uploads have been obviously very slow and whatever, but I have now fully caught up with Samurai 8, and I am gushing. I am so freaking excited for everything that's happening in it. This is not going to be a very organized video. It might be pretty quick, it might be long, I don't know. But I just wanted to get some stuff off my chest and kind of just gush about it, because honestly, I like, after the Ada fight, which was basically the last thing that I really talked about on the channel, I was kind of starting to come off of the high. Like, that fight was super cool and everything, but then it was like, okay, the moon is falling, and what are we going to do about that? And I was kind of starting to be like, oh yeah, okay, this is cool, but we're clearly moving on to just some stuff, whatever. But as soon as they got off planet, everything just got so freaking hype. I'm just so excited for what's going on. We're currently in kind of like a, I hesitate to call it a tournament arc, because it's been just kind of progressing, and now they're at basically the end of it, and it's only been a couple of chapters since they really got into it. But we're kind of in this really cool arc where they're kind of getting their feet in the universe, and they're currently on a planet where there's giant tournaments going on, and all of our current main characters are battling it out with a bunch of other samurai. And I'm getting way too far ahead of myself here. I want to talk about some small and big plot points. So first of all, Hachimaru used the Atmos Fang, which was really cool. He kind of had to copy paste it onto his key rather than actually fully downloading it, because there just wasn't any time for him to fully learn the Kongo-Yasha style stuff. But he used it. He got all drained and whatever. And so that's no matter who you are, that's just how it's going to happen. We met a couple new characters that tried to steal their giant turtle holder that is basically their spaceship. So that was pretty good. I'm really interested in Kotsuga and Ryu. Ryu has a memory issue, and it's kind of funny because it's clearly Kotsuga is manipulative and a little bit of a dickhead. But Ryu, he has a memory issue, so he's constantly just kind of hanging out with him because it's just whatever. And he's a super powerful samurai. Kotsuga is maybe a bushi or not at all anything. Either way, he's not a samurai, so that's just whatever. He's kind of they're kind of a comical relief couple there, and I really like them because there's some really funny stuff coming out of them. They even make a joke about how they're a great couple, similar to An and Hachimaru, and Kotsuga's not like them, not like that at all. So I really like them a lot. And honestly, I'm really hoping that this is our core team. So we got Hachimaru, we got An, we got Daruma, who's super cool always, and then Kotsuga and Ryu. And while I'm a little afraid that they're gonna kind of split off anyways later on, I'm really hoping that they're all this is our core team for the adventures to come, because I like their dynamic. I like that Ryu, while he's forgetful and kind of a little weird, he's a good sparring partner for Hachimaru, and can maybe teach him some stuff that Daruma can't necessarily do himself. So it's really cool. Also, he's got a double-sided sword, and that's super cool. Ryu is super cool when he fights, because him and Daruma kind of went at each other when they were trying to steal Daruma's ship. And he's got this so he's got his holder bone thing, and then he can pull out two different samurai souls to attach to it, and it can make a sickle and some other cool stuff. So it's really cool. I like that that he's different, and that there's some kind of mystery to him as to why he can have two samurai souls and all that business. Something that they just revealed, I think they just revealed in the last chapter, and I'm sorry I'm jumping around here because there's a lot of information and I've been gone and I just kind of want to get it off my chest, but something that they just technically, I think, revealed in the last chapter was Daruma's original body. And lo and behold, it was the same avatar. It's the avatar that Hachimaru was using in the video game at the beginning of the series, which is a really cool thing, because At the beginning of the series, there's some really kind of confusing shots of like Daruma talking to his master, and we also got to see his master again. So that was really cool, and seeing them train and have Daruma gloat about Atta being a super awesome pupil, and then obviously that kind of goes a little. Ugh. Either way, in the beginning of this series, we kind of like saw some confusing shots of like Daruma basically being sent off on his journey to find Hachimaru ultimately, and then it kind of like bleeds into the games stuff. So there's a little bit of confusion going on there, but there's a lot of like, oh, in hindsight, it's clearly like whatever. And also, how can I not even mention this before? Daruma made the game. That's his game. That's what it was, basically his like litmus test to find the child of prophecy or whatever. So that was his way to find Hachimaru ultimately. Is because he saw Hachimaru was number one, and that was like his like way. He went to go check it out and see if he was really the person he was looking for, and lo and behold, he was. So that's really, really an interesting facet to it, where it's like you have all these like kind of like ancient Japanese, like not ancient, but like historical Japanese stuff. You got samurai, you have princesses, you got like all this like kind of like space, like it's kind of a space opera-y kind of thing. But then you have all this technology that's like in this, beyond just like the holders and like the animals and whatever, but like you have like spaceships in general, you have space stations, you have video games, and like specifically video games and VR video games. So that's like, it's a really, really interesting, interwoven words that I'm trying to. It's really interesting how Kishimoto is like weaving together this like old and new and bringing it together, and I'm honestly really, really excited about it. I know this is kind of coming off as like a, oh, I haven't talked about it at all kind of thing, but I'm just so psyched about all of this. So in the last couple of chapters, we actually got some really interesting information. So first of all, Hachimaru has this like white samurai soul blade that only kind of appears a little bit because clearly he's still green. And two, we learned a little bit, kind of like, we got a little more insight in Ann's past, and I honestly kind of appreciate her way more now. So first of all, she was an orphan before becoming a princess, and she basically lived with this other orphan kid, and they were basically kind of like a pseudo siblings or whatever. They were brother and sister, not by blood, but because they were just kind of like, they were close. They lived together, they grew up together and whatnot. Ultimately, he dies because he wanted to become stronger to protect her. He takes the like a blade out of a locker ball at a temple and tries to stab it inside of him, but it doesn't work out because he just wasn't the chosen one for that locker ball. So that was not good. But he's very key because in that backflash chapter, they kind of talk about how like this is like when she was really young, but like Ann didn't really talk or anything. She was constantly bullied, and we now kind of see a picture as to why she stutters. And while it's really annoying to read, it really is kind of clear as to why. There is a very specific reason, and it's not just because, oh, she's shy and she's just like a little nervous. It's because she learned how to talk from her older brother, who also stuttered and was nervous all the time. So it's kind of a tick that, like, I think eventually she'll grow out of, because there's a lot of parallels between her older brother, who had the Japanese character verse 7 on his back, because he was a nameless person, a Nanashi, but then he owned the name Nanashi, and it was like, oh, the 7 desires. So he kind of owned that name. And then now you have Hachimaru with his brand new super expensive clothes, because he really kind of like screwed Daruma there for a second. But he's got an 8 on his back, and that's kind of like there's some really nice parallels, and it shows just why they're so strong together, Ann and Hachimaru. So it was a good and very important chapter in my opinion. We also got to meet a samurai and a princess. I forget if we actually got their names. This is what happens when you read chapters in succession and then don't record anything immediately after. But they at first kind of like gave off the vibe of like, oh, they're like generally kind, and that samurai and Hachimaru clash blades and all that. But there was a lesson to be learned from that little clash. But it seems like maybe they'll end up being villains, and ultimately they're looking for a cat man and a young pupil So it's like them, but like, I don't know. They made it sound like it wasn't them. Probably is them. They're probably going to end up being villains. And it'll be like, oh, hey guys, what's up? Oh, and now they're trying to kill us anyway. So that is kind of the crux of it. Now that I've said all that, that's basically all I wanted to say. I don't want to drag this rambly video on for too long. So I will just say, moving forward, I will be reviewing up to date. I will focus on one chapter at a time, and we will get this going because I don't want to miss a thing moving forward. It just was a weird month and a half or so, plus whatever, and it's just chapters got away from me. I missed one chapter and was like, oh, okay, then I'll just review like 2 chapters, and then that kept going and that kept going. Oh my god. But I'm glad that I'm still so psyched about this because Kishimoto is really doing a very, very good job with setting up this world. There was a lot to learn right in the beginning, but now that they're kind of exploring and like Hachimaru's learning and things are unraveling just a little bit at a time now, I'm really digging it. So, in the next chapter, I'm willing to bet that Hachimaru is not going to be the winner of this tournament. I bet it'll come down to Daruma and Ryu kind of fighting it out, and either Daruma will win just handedly, or Ryu will win, and it'll just be like, oh, well, somebody's got to win. It's just the 3 of them left, so it really doesn't matter. They're going to get the prize money and everything from it no matter what. But in the next chapter or 2, they're probably going to have to face off against this, like, giant dude. It's gonna be baller. Well, that's enough rambling from me. I will see you guys in another video. Let me know what you guys think of Samurai 8 so far. We are, like 20-something chapters in, and it's really gonna get really good. I'm super, super excited. Now that we're away from, like, main villains, we're gonna get into some, like, kind of, like, some subplotty stuff, and I'm super excited even about that. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought down below in the comment section. Ooh, snap. And make sure to leave a like if you did like this video. And if you want to see more from me, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell. I will see you guys in another video. So long!